Hey there, divers. Let's go to Shipwreck. From the surface, Shipwreck doesn't look like it has a lot going on, but with the bathy we can see there's more than meets the eye. On the north side of the seamount is a wall popular with tech divers. It starts around 100 feet and drops past 200. Due to conditions today, Kai has us anchored on the south side of the pinnacle. We'll be making a complete circumnavigation of the point in a counterclockwise direction. That means we'll be starting our dive here on the south side with the reef on our left, headed east. This is our first dive on a 3-dive day, so we're going to be wearing 120s on our backs, but we're going to be breathing off of aluminum 80 stage bottles for the entirety of this dive. We've just dropped down and deployed our stages. If you look at my compass, you can see that we're headed northeast, so we're just starting that circumnavigation. We'll be starting the dive with our friends Tanny and Jen before splitting off to do our own thing. There was a real glut of blacksmith on this dive. We ran into several of these sheets of fish. Sometimes there's more animal than salt water. Got ourselves a cool egg yolk jelly here, so I'm going to deploy the GoPro, get a nice little shot of that. Poor dude unfortunately has a couple of big bite marks taken out on the top of him from the fish. We're already starting to head northeast, starting on that wall segment of the dive, and Andrew's signaling to let me know that he remembers this spot from his T1 experience dive. The perspective on the 360 cam is kind of hard to read here, but we're around 90 feet and the sand below us is probably 120. There's still tons of blacksmith on this part of the wall, but they start to thin out as we move on. At this point, the visibility is really going to start opening up a lot. It really wasn't too great in the shallower waters, but down here past 80, 90 feet, it's really starting to open up, and it's going to get to at least 100 feet of visibility as we continue around the corner. We're getting towards the deepest part of the wall here. The sand's about 170 feet deep, but we're going to keep hanging out up here at 100. There's a great variety of Gorgonia life at this site. There's a big red Gorgonian on the tip of this rock here, your classic California Goldens, and then those real fluffy ones are Selvaticas. We're coming towards the western side of the wall here. This is definitely my favorite part of the wall. In future dives, I would just turn around here and go back over it once more time rather than continuing the circumnavigation. You'll see the western side of the pinnacles really nothing to write home about. I'd definitely just turn around here and do this wall another time or two. This is a pretty iconic part of the wall here with this massive spire jutting out over the abyss, right where the wall takes a nearly 90-degree corner. The visibility out here is really impressive. This piece of rock is probably 80, 90 feet tall, and we can see the entire thing in one view. It's cool to think about the last ice age. This cliff was 200 feet above sea level with birds flying by, and now today it's 100 feet subsurface with the fish and us flying by. As you can see by the dramatic reduction in that amazing visibility, we've come up to about 70 feet here as we continue south along the west side of the pinnacle. Just gonna be hanging out, playing in the shallower reef from here on out. Even though we're only about 25 minutes in this dive, you can see those aluminum 80s already starting to get pretty butt light. Got to push them out of the way to get to our dump valves. And we're going to be doing that a lot as we continue to get shallower and shallower as we continue around the pinnacle. Let me try to interpret this conversation for you. Andrew's asking, do you know where the boat is? I'm saying, yeah, dude, it's around the corner. He's saying, have we completed a full circumnavigation yet? I'm saying, nah, dude, definitely not. We've gone like halfway, maybe 3/4. We still got to go all the way around the corner. Of course, if you look at my compass, we're already headed east, which means we're on the south side of the circle, meaning that if we surfaced now, we'd probably be right in front of the boat. As we're coming around to the eastern side, you can see we're hitting this really strong south-flowing current that's just laying that kelp absolutely flat. We're still moving at a decent pace with the DPVs, but if you were kicking it, you'd probably be going backwards. Found ourselves another jelly in a quieter spot with a little less current and about 4.5 billion blacksmiths. We're gonna pop out the GoPro, get another shot of this. Hopefully Andy doesn't do anything funny. Look at that. It's almost like I've watched this before. I'm just going to give you a slow pan so you can appreciate how many fish are actually out here. Finish that shot, let me stow this GoPro like a boss, check my gas, and hit the dusty trails. Here's what that looked like from the GoPro's perspective. This jelly is looking a little bit healthier than the last one, although he is beelining straight for the seafloor. We're still heading up the east side of the rock here, but looking back and up toward the surface, we can get just a little glimpse of sunlight before it goes behind the rock on the surface. Unfortunately, today was not a sunny day. Here we've moved up shallower. We're heading back toward the boat. I think we've realized our mistake at this point, and somehow we are still fighting the current, now flowing more north. Truly an uphill both ways type of scenario. Ran into our friends Tanny and Jen here. So we're gonna strike a cool pose. Hopefully Tanny gets something nice of us. We're cruising about 30 feet subsurface here, just making our way back toward a kind of rocky point that we had noticed while dropping in. DPV diving, in my experience, is more of a landscape dive. You're looking at the big picture rather than at the individual creatures. So it's nice to get in really close to the reef like this, be able to weave through the kelp and appreciate a Garibaldi here and a half moon there. Coming up to that point I mentioned earlier, I found this spear gun spear in about 20 feet of water. Hey dude, check out my cool spear. Why don't you give that a wiggle? Nice wiggle. Feeling a little floaty here, so I'm gonna dump some gas out of my wing and put a little squeeze in the suit. Getting pretty close to 500 psi in the stage. We're going to switch off of these in a minute just for the last 2 or 3 minutes of our dive. Oh, you're just going to hang on to the spear? I guess I won't make any sudden stops then. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Dive safe.